Basketball on BTN, presented by April Air. Feel good inside. And brought to you in part by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. Well, to say this is a game the Wolverines need to take seriously is not just idle talk. That's what NJIT stands for, by the way. No, it doesn't. New Jersey Institute of Technology. Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineups for you. The guy that we'll watch out for on the Highlanders is Damon Lynn, wearing number 5. You got to watch out for everybody, I guess, Stephen, on Michigan's side. But notably, the big three that we've talked about, Irvin and Levert and Walton, who still got that bad toe, but he's fighting through that. Yeah, and he's going to be just fine come game time. And he's been taking it easy since the Syracuse ball game, but you're going to have nicks and bruises like that throughout the season. But Derek Walton, he'll have his A-game on when the ball's tossed. And as you look at what the big three have done, they'll be trying to get it done today against a team that does have wins in the bank over Maine and Duquesne. Otherwise, 5 losses, including by 20 to St. John's, but only by 5 to Marquette. Yeah, it's a capable ball club, and the Highlanders run that Princeton-style offense that is so common in that part of the country. Michigan right now at 6-1 at one of it. Count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranked teams in this conference right now. Well, and it shows that especially Michigan State with 3 losses is playing quality talent. Highlanders coached by Jim Engels, his 7th year here at NJIT. And actually, of the 2 coaches on the court today, he's the one who got a vote for AP Coach of the Year last year. Mike Gray of Notre Dame won that honor last year. Former Michigan coach Steve Fisher finishing 2nd. John Beilein did a wonderful job, of course, last season, too. The team going all the way to the Elite 8. Well, he's done a magnificent job in spite of tremendous losses to the NBA. Goes to show how good his program really is. Double tap, and the Wolverines traveling left to right, wearing the white. Kind of a sloppy first half against Syracuse. Both teams, not just Michigan. Well, Syracuse in their zone will make you look sloppy because it's unlike anything that teams in college basketball have seen unless you play in their conference. The freshman Chapman. And the rebound grabbed by Tim Coleman. Lamont Simpson, by the way, is our lead official today. Stolen right away. Turnovers a big problem for NJIT, not for Michigan. You probably know that about the Wolverines. They protect the ball so well. Well, Tim Coleman telegraphed that pass, and Karis LeVert saw it coming the whole way. They've got to be very patient when you run that Princeton-style offense. Typically, if you don't get a shot in the first 5 seconds, you got to wait towards the end of the shot clock before the defense relaxes. LeVert, soft touch. It's the 2nd time now that we've seen a Michigan perimeter player. First it was Cam Chapman, and then Karis LeVert driving left into the lane, elevating over their defense. 2 turnovers in a minute 14 for the Highlanders. Coming from right to left, Karis LeVert is 6'7". It's going to be difficult for any perimeter player, not just in this game, but in the nation, to stop him once he gets in that paint with his size and athleticism. Man, they call Baby Durant. He's been a little bit more healthy than the original copy. He's got John Sanderson, their strength coach, on his side. Done wonders for this program. Rattles out on LeVert. Now again, NJIT averaging close to 20 turnovers a game. They've already tossed it away a couple times here. Well, the thing is, they're missing probably their best player in Terrence Smith, who's been out with a foot fracture. Travel, there's their 3rd turnover, and that foot fracture. Ooh, and Lynn goes limping away. Speaking of problems with the feet, he shuffles all the way to the bench. And boy, if he's out, that's a huge issue for this NJIT team. You know, he's grabbing his ankle, so that appears that he turned it in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully that's a thing where the pain will relent in a couple of minutes and he can get back on the court, because the longer he's on the sideline, Josh, the more that thing stiffens up. Another miss, and Kai Howard, the leading rebounder for the Highlanders, and he's only 6'4". But there is turnover number 4. We're sticking to the script.
Let's take a look and see what happened here.
Oh, right there, yeah. With Walton shuffling over. That's kind of funny because Derek Walton Jr. was telling us before the game that's kind of how he hurt himself a little while ago.
Yeah, stubbed his toe when trying to take a charge in the Villanova game. And that's going to happen during the course of college basketball season. You're going to get injuries like that. Hopefully, he'll be okay.
Michigan runs it to 4-0 now.
Mark Linnell, nice jump hook there.
Held ball, and it'll be NJIT's ball. Here's Denali inside.
This young man is kind of interesting because he's so quiet on the court, and he's still trying to find his way, his confidence, but he's the team comedian. He's the most vocal guy when you get off the court, but on the floor, he tends to clam up a little bit.
Well, it's been 4 possessions, 4 turnovers for the Highlanders so far. Shot clock down to 5, despite what the student section is chanting. And it's a battle for it. It's on the line, and Michigan gets it back.
Good hustle by both players. Howard and Levert going after the loose ball right there. Glad there was no call made. Just good, hard, physical hustle, and both of them help each other up.
You don't appreciate how well Michigan protects the ball. It's 62 turnovers this year for Michigan, 127 now for NJIT.
Yeah, it's just, you don't give yourself a chance at the NJIT. The rate that they turn the ball over, you know, they're running an offense that will give them decent looks if they would just make the simple play, Josh. It looks like even early in this game, they're trying to do too much in each possession.
Nice hand for Ricky Doyle when he got into the game. He's very quickly becoming a fan favorite. Six freshmen on this Michigan team. Here's one of them with Chapman firing. And it rattles out on him. The putback won't go, but that's pretty much vintage Ricky Doyle right there. Mitch McGarry starter kit.
I like the Mitch McGarry starter kit, but Ricky Doyle, talked about early on, he understands that when you're a freshman in John Beilein's system, you have to get the defensive schemes down first. He was quoted as saying that he started to really was determined to get that end of the floor right. And they've got such dynamic guards in Walton, Levert, and Irvin that he'll get the basketball if he can do his job on the defensive end.
Now Spike Albrecht checking in, speaking of fan favorites.
Yeah. Oldest player on the team and just so solid. 16 assists and no turnovers the last 2 games. And boy, they needed every one of those plays against Syracuse.
Damon Lynn is back in. And he will chuck up those threes all afternoon. Albrecht all the way to the rack. Well, you're expecting him to pull up because that's his game, but he just slithered right on through.
Well, he's playing at such a high level of confidence right now. He's just taking what the defense gives him. He's doing a great job of face guarding Lynn, the Highlanders' leading scorer, number 5. Not able to shake free yet here on this possession.
Shot clock ticking towards 10. Highlanders still looking to score. That's a good pass underneath for Kai Howard, who banks it home.
See, Josh, that's what I mean. If the Highlanders take their time, they'll get quality looks. And that time, they didn't try anything fancy. Just make the easy pass, make the easy play.
Well, the old Carmody-led Northwestern teams, right, of a few years ago, probably a good template to look at.
Sure.
Albrecht, look at the spin. And then he missed the shot. Howard backs it out. Hi, Howard, no relation to Jawan. Can't come to Michigan and not think about that.
That's right.
A missed layup, and it bounces around. It's going to be called as a kicked ball. which will get us to break. Spike Albrecht and company out to a nice start against NJIT. Wolverines out to an 8-2 lead. Spike Albrecht off the bench, who's been strong. Of course, he's coming off a tour de force performance against Syracuse, rattling home the game-tilting three-pointer, and that pass everybody loves talking about.
Well, he got into the teeth of that vaulted Syracuse zone. Ricky Doyle doing what bigs do: stay opposite, receive the pass, and hammer it home.
Spike Albrecht, a tough Midwest kid, but you'll see him spending pregame talking with little kids. He's the mayor.
Well, he understands the opportunity he has. This is a young man that, you know, he's a very integral piece of this team, but he's playing starters minutes. I don't know if he's as effective as he is in his current role.
That ball taken away in the first Michigan turnovers. They tried to force it inside.
Oh, Derek Walton's got to get a better angle on that post feed. That was a poor entry pass right there. It was easy for the defense to steal.
The scouting report is to take away uniform number 5 for NJIT. And he's calling for it here. Damon Lynn lets it fly, and it rims out. Lynn averages close to 12 three-point shot attempts per game.
And the thing with Lynn is when he catches and shoots, he is really effective. But when you make him put it on the deck, his percentage drops considerably. So that's what Michigan is keen on today. Whoever is guarding Lynn, make him put it on the deck. Do not give him free catching looks.
Little touch foul from Winfield Willis on Albrecht. Last year, Lynn was in very select company. You're talking about freshmen hitting three-pointers, and he's top 4 all time.
Well, that's an incredible stat right there. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care what conference you're in. If you're Division I and you put up those kind of numbers, you can flat out shoot the basketball.
Another touch foul. This one goes on Osa Osabua. You mentioned whatever conference you're in, ... and NJIT doesn't even have one. They are the only pure independent in Division I. They are the Clarence Frogman Henry. They ain't got no homes.
But they've got a really nice slate, though. St. John's, Marquette, Villanova, and Michigan among some of their opponents. So, you know, they don't have a dedicated home. They seem to get some good quality of opposition.
They just got a quality block shot out of Tim Coleman. He had a game-saving block in the final seconds of their upset win at Duquesne. I think that's the game that got everybody's attention. You go and beat Duquesne. It's a decent mid-major type program. Willis hoisting from 3, and he hits it. His 10th of the year as a transfer from Division II Clarion. And the last 5 points now have been from the Highlanders.
Well, seeing the Mays Rage, the student section here, doing the early countdown, I believe that assisted Willis because he's thinking the shot clock's running down. There was no hesitation on that three-point shot. So Mays Rage needs to use that early shot clock count sparingly against the Highlanders.
In the pace of this game, they're going to become the Malaise Rage. There's nothing to shout about quite yet. Low-scoring game and another block. Walton gets it back and hits. How about that exchange?
That's called a weight room jumper. Meaning he got the first one blocked. He had to gather himself quickly and have enough strength to go up with form and get that down.
That stems the tide. And the first bucket for Walton in the game. He averages 12 points. Held ball. This should be Michigan's this time. LeVert got down on the floor with his fellow number 23, Osa Osabua. So Michigan doubling up NJIT. Nice job by Walton. Michigan's up 10-5, and they're in it today 6-1. The one lost by 5 points to Villanova in Brooklyn. Our State Farm State of Success will show you how it's gone under John Beilein. And really, ever since they got that big win against Michigan State late January of 2011, that was kind of the tipping point for Coach Beilein.
Yeah, it really got things rolling there. Those are just outstanding numbers. When you talk about 2 outright or shared Big Ten titles and 2 Elite Eights and that tremendous run they had to the finals. And they sustained the success, Josh, in spite of numerous players going early to the NBA.
Albrecht, bang.
His body language just emphasizes how much confidence he has right now and his grasp of the system.
Offensive foul as Albrecht draws it. That's on Damon Lynn, who they need to stay in the game. Well, Albrecht, you know, when he came here, obviously, Stephen, he didn't get all the publicity that a lot of those guys that you're hinting at, the McGarrys and the Robinsons that go early into the NBA. This is a guy that wasn't supposed to do much. He's done a ton.
Oh, yeah, and I think, you know, when you have a system like Beeline, if you're a player with some knowledge and thirst for the game, and you put in the time and put in the work, you can be successful.
That ball knocked away from Doyle. Ultimate team player is Albrecht. Never worries about his role or his stats, just what they call the basketball IQ. And amazingly, it's now 17 assists since his last turnover.
Well, and again, Spike Albrecht, we highlighted the wraparound pass against Syracuse. But, you know, he's a guy that makes the right play. And again, the confidence that he's playing with is just incredible. At Michigan bucking the trend, though, Josh, 5 made field goals, 0 assists. So we saw them really assist well the last 2 games coming in before this one.
He was on the floor for NJIT, and that's a guy that's supposed to be a big player for them. Daquan Holiday missed that little leaner. The freshman got blocked from behind. Cam Chapman couldn't get the shot to go. And now the Highlanders have a chance to cut it down. Coleman hoisting it up. And he is actually 6 out of 12 from beyond the arc this year with a kind of an unconventional release.
And that's what you'll see with the Highlanders. They'll look in the first 5 seconds of the possession. If they don't get it quickly, then they put you in that meat grinder, that Princeton-style offense.
Levert, too strong, airballed it. And also we should point out that NJIT already in this game, Stephen, has 5 blocked shots, and they don't have anybody on their roster that plays appreciable minutes taller than 6'7".
Right. So that's a willingness to play on the defensive end, and these guys are a little bit more athletic than they appear.
And Zach Irvin checks in scoreless for the game so far.
You know, Josh, we were talking to John Beeline before the game. Oh, great play.
Wow, and there for the stuff is Ukawuba.
Set play to lift the weak side away, a backdoor cut. Highlanders starting to feel pretty good about themselves.
Now, I mentioned you really can't go to sleep on these guys. They've proven that as they hung in there against St. John's, almost beat Marquette, did beat Duquesne. But they just shoot themselves in the foot too often with turnovers. From the corner, 3-ball goes for Irvin.
John Beeline talked about it. A lot of teams that come off a big win, like they did against Syracuse, they don't bounce forward. They kind of regress. And he was interested to see how his young team would respond.
Kai Howard hits from the corner. So it's Irvin from one corner, Howard from the other. Chapman, who started his Michigan career slowly, his first few games, seems to be getting better and better every time. Michigan has Arizona coming up soon. That's the team that beat him by 2 a year ago. Albrecht finds the open man, and so does Chapman. It's Walton driving. Too strong. But bobbled out of bounds by Ukawuba.
You know, Michigan not getting a lot of energy from their crowd this afternoon. So they're going to have to generate their own. And the Highlanders they've got a free shot here, Josh, in terms of coming in and letting it fly.
Coming off the big win against Syracuse, and yeah, trying to bounce forward instead of back. Albrecht, as the shot clock expires, missing. And NJIT can actually tie it with a 3. They take a 2 instead. The runner off the glass going for Damon Lynn. And it's more come on than Damon right now here in Chrysler because the fans are like, wait a minute. You guys just beat Syracuse. Hang on. It's a 10-3 run for the Highlanders. Foul is drawn there. It'll be called on to Wike, his second. So the Wolverines at the line when we come back. They're up by only 1. The Spartans taking on Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and it's Colgate and Ohio State. We'll close it out with the Hoosiers taking on Savannah State. Coverage continuing after our game, presented by April Air on BTN and BTN to go. And Stephen, we were talking about how NJIT is trying to make a name for itself, and by hanging around teams like Marquette, actually beating Duquesne, they're within a point of Michigan today. That does have people's attention.
It does, and they play a great system that allows their undersized front line to have a chance against a much bigger Michigan team. And as long as they cut down on their 7 turnovers here early, this would be a much different looking game.
Michigan has won its last 37 regular season non-conference games here at Chrysler Center against unranked opponents. But, you know, if memory serves, we just talked about Savannah State. When Savannah State was an independent, they came in here a few years ago and took Michigan to overtime. So if you're a Michigan fan and you're starting to think, where have I seen this before? I would say about 5 years ago against Savannah State.
Yeah, and it's not unusual right now. This is a young basketball team in Michigan. They had some success at home against Syracuse, big win. It's natural for them to let down. They look at the schedule, and you want them, if you're John Beilein, to be ready to play all the time. But with 18 to 22-year-olds, that's a little unrealistic.
Is it possible when they got out 8-0, they relaxed a little bit?
Oh, sure. And the Highlanders were turning the ball over at such a high clip as well. They seem to have settled down here a little bit.
The young team, as you're talking about, that foul, by the way, was on. Yeah, it was on Vinal, yeah, number 34. And that's the first foul committed by Michigan in this game.
Oh, good pass.
That's a great look right there. And Kai Howard has 7 to lead all scorers. The Highlanders to within a point.
Wuba, I thought he was going to put his head down and try to get to the bucket, but a sweet pass. See, that's the easy play that we're talking about. If they just make simple plays, this game could get interesting.
And Denal is able to hit from the top of the arc. That's his first free ball of the year.
Mark is a young man that's very talented, Josh. He's just struggling with his confidence, so let's see if it'll elevate his play somewhat.
Well, with DJ Wilson still out for another week or two, he'll get some extended minutes. Here's Irvin. And Levert left open. And he splashes it in.
That's the thing about going against the Wolverines. You can get back defensively, but if you don't close out on the perimeter, they've got 5 guys right now on the floor that can sting you from 3.
Highlanders staying patient, and they get that little baby hooks to go from Holiday, who hit for 12 against Marquette not too long ago.
Those are capable guys. Holiday seems to play well when the lights are brightest. Had 10 and 5 against St. John's, so capable scorer.
Rainbow doesn't drop for Albright. Michigan's in the bonus.
Michigan foul on Spike Albright.
But NJIT certainly is not. And it's only the second team foul, the first on Albright.
That's part of Michigan's MO. Do not foul, do not turn the ball over. Get quality shots.
Wolverines are 4 out of 8 from beyond the arc, and that has helped to grow the lead here today. Lynn draws that blocking foul from Albright. That'll be 2 quick fouls on Spike Albright.
Spike's being asked a lot today to guard the opposing team's best scorer. Try to get in position here defensively. Thought he squared up pretty good there.
Albright's out and Chapman comes in.
And we had a good vantage point from where we're sitting, Josh.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a charge.
Now with the fresh 35, the Highlanders get it. But they're moving all around the court here. A block from behind. That's Levert who poked it away. And then they almost threw it away. Nice save right at the midcourt stripe by Walton. Michigan led 8-0. NJIT was scoreless the first 5 minutes. Walton the pull-up. And he got it.
And that's beautiful by Derek Walton Jr. If you're worried about that toe, he's going back grimacing a little bit, trying to flex it. So it's not 100%, but he's able to stop and pop like that. It's a great sign for the Wolverines.
Native Detroiter is a big player for them. Well, spin move inside. Coleman gets it to go. The sophomore from Jersey City. St. Anthony High School product, the Bob Hurley experience.
So you know that he's got a high basketball IQ and understanding of what his role is, because Bobby Hurley demands that.
What an amazing program that's been for more than 40 years now. Doyle, who's been quiet so far. The Highlanders paying some good attention defensively here. Shot clock at 5, and Irvin lets fly. There's that big jumper, Kai Howard. He's only 6'4", but he's been their leading rebounder 6 out of 7 games.
That's interesting, too, because he's pretty much running the lead guard position, but on the defensive end. Really valuable to this team.
Holiday turns it over. It's 9 turnovers for the Highlanders, who are still in this thing. They trail Michigan by 5. Michigan just beat Syracuse, and trying not to have any kind of hangover effect from that. They're leading by only 5 right now against NJIT. What are you seeing right now?
You know, the Michigan defense has not had the intensity that D-line would like. The Highlanders are shooting over 50% in spite of 9 turnovers. So their effort, the Highlanders, are keeping them in this game. And if Michigan would elevate their effort, Josh, I think they could get this a double-figure lead. But you know, this is what happens with young teams when they have success. How do they bounce back?
NJIT with 5 blocked shots, and they have outscored Michigan in the paint 10-4. But in the paint, there's a runner that goes for Karis LeVert, and he's got 7.
Set play out of the timeout to get Karis LeVert along the baseline. There was no defensive help to be had. He swipes through and goes hard baseline.
And the Highlanders, again, if they just protected the basketball a little bit better, they've got 9 turnovers already. They've got a shooter in Lynn, and he rolls it in. He came in with 51 points in his last 2 games, 12 of 24 beyond the arc.
His green light is neon green. So when he comes in, gets off the bus, he's looking to shoot.
Chapman trying to spin. He got blocked. The 6th block shot for NJIT. That's the 2nd for Coleman. And a reminder to stay tuned for the State Farm halftime report, too. We'll get you there in just a second. Show you some blocks first. And we're back live. The shot clock at 8. Walton hits.
Well, we've seen that twice now. Derek Walton getting into the 12-foot range off the bounce, able to elevate and get past his defender. It's like anytime, Josh, you see a made bucket, guys' intensity picks up on the defensive end.
Open 3 goes down for Winfield Willis, his 2nd of the game. He's pretty much just a bombs away guy. Seldom ever pulls up for anything mid-range. Highlanders 5 of 8 from beyond the arc. And they have cut this down to 3.
And if you're head coach Jim Ingles from NJIT, you've got to be pleased. You're looking at 4-minute increments to where you want to keep the game close. They've done an excellent job of that here in the first half.
Turning it over. They're calling it Derek Walton Jr. Or are they calling Doyle off the ball?
No, it looked like they called it, he stepped out of bounds.
Okay, there you go. And that reminder to stay tuned for the State Farm halftime report. Rick Pizzo anchors our coverage. Irvin runs it. Irvin converts it.
That's the intensity that B-line is looking for. This team is turnover prone, talking about the Highlanders. So you turn the defensive intensity up, and you can come up with some buckets like that.
Losing the handle was Damon Lynn. But NJIT is going to keep it here. Quick 30-second timeout. We'll take a break, too. It's Michigan by 5. Michigan spreading out the scoring, leading 32-27. Nobody with more than 7 points right now. One of the guys with 7 is Mark Donnell, who came in averaging only 4 per game. LeVert's got 7. Irvin's got 5. Walton's got 6. And the Spike Albrecht show has kind of dimmed a little bit. He picked up 2 quick fouls and really hasn't been much of a factor yet.
Yeah, and he came out going strong early on, but, you know, as you mentioned, there are 2 fouls, but Walton has started to pick it up a little bit on the offensive end, and the Wolverines' defensive intensity has tightened as the first half comes to a close.
They got to get this shot away. 2 to get it away, 1 to get it away, and a block. Michigan will take over here and hold for the final shot if they want to. Although, are they calling a foul or just a violation?
I think they called a foul on Coleman.
So they'll shoot 1 and 1 here, will the Wolverines. First on Coleman.
Ricky Doyle building a wall there outside of that arc area. Nice defensive play by the freshman.
And check that. Michigan obviously inbounding it, and they will hold for a final possession. That's Walton. And won't count it if it goes. It did not anyway. So Michigan does lead at the half, but John Beilein wears the look of a man who's got a thing or two to tell his team in just a moment. Michigan 32, NJIT 27. The State Farm halftime report coming up after these messages. There is Kai Howard dropping one in.
You know, if I'm head coach Jim Ingles, I've got to be pleased, Josh. I mean, I'm undersized. My team is undersized. I'm without our best player who's out with a foot fracture. You know, they've really done a good job. Lynn, Michigan has defensively, but they're still in the game.
LeVert now has 9. Boy, he's fun to watch. So quick off the dribble, able to get the ball to the open man in a heartbeat. Stripped of the ball is Damon Lynn, but it's recovered, and off the ball got a foul call. That'll be on LeVert. Or check that, it's on Walton.
Foul on number 10, Derek Walton Jr.
Derek Walton Jr., runner-up for Mr. Basketball in Michigan in high school a couple of years back. Here's a 3 back to live action that missed. And the Wolverines run the floor. The freshman spinning. Chapman missed. Couldn't follow.
Chapman's struggling today. He had 2 pretty good games previous to this.
The Baltimore native Winfield Willis to the rack.
Michigan got to find a way to generate some intensity. They still look like they're sleepwalking from the other night against Syracuse. I don't understand. These guys are on scholarship, too.
Irvin for 3. And another offensive rebound, but another miss. And the Highlanders can actually tie it with a tray here. They'll kick it out and look for it. And they got it. Winfield Willis, his 3rd of the game. All right, now keep in mind they were up 10 on Syracuse.
Yep.
The Orange came back to tie, and then Michigan pulled away. But Albrecht was the spark in that one. Walton for 3. Bam!
That's excellent playmaking by Cameron Chapman. He had an opportunity to go one-on-one on the post. He looked opposite, found Walton wide open. That three was huge.
Another foul on Walton is his second in the last minute or so. So in comes Albrecht. He's got a couple fouls. But again, he was the ignition switch in that Syracuse game for sure.
John Beilein talking to Cameron Chapman. Cameron Chapman's got to improve his body language. That is poor body language. Nobody likes to come out of the game, but when you're being taught by one of the masters of the game and you're a freshman, you've got to listen.
Good look inside. Oh, and the miss. Nowicki somehow missed the jam.
But again, the Islanders, who are playing with more intensity, come up with the loose ball.
Boy, and they are getting some kind of production from Winfield Willis. He came in averaging not even 9 a game. And he's actually game high now in this one. He's up to 13. That's actually 7 straight now for Willis going back to last half. Walton fires it down low, and a foul committed by Willis.
You're going underneath on Derek Walton again on the zone. Excuse me, on the pick and roll action. And Walton's going to be able to shoot that. The big steps up to help. He drops down to Donnell. They get the foul. So you got to pick your poison against Michigan. You can't take everything away from them in the half-court offensive set.
Good rotation here, and Irvin. It rolls out on him. Held ball. And that'll stay right down here. I like the intensity from Donnell.
Picture-perfect, textbook ball movement by Michigan. Doesn't result in the open three that they wanted, but they got an open three based on sharing the basketball and spacing the floor.
Levert cams the three. And you're right, you would have liked to have seen off that John Beilein ballet, if you will, the way they moved that ball around, the actual conversion, but they end up with a three anyway. A block from behind by Doyle. And a foul called. Or is it simply out of bounds?
You talked about it. Karis LeVert is so fun to watch. At 6'7", can handle the basketball, can get in the paint, can elevate, can create. He's only one of 2 players in the country, along with Wesley Saunders of Harvard, that averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. So he's a stat stuffer for sure.
Driving. 1-on-3. He takes it home. You were wondering which of the big 3 might just step up, pound his chest, and say, all right, come on, follow me, let's go.
He's definitely a leader by example. He's not too demonstrative, but definitely follow his lead.
Well, then the Red Sea parts for Tim Coleman, who's got 7.
See, excuse me, Josh, one of the issues I see defensively for Michigan moving forward, if they're not able to better limit dribble penetration, they really don't have a shot blocker on the back line. So teams are going to attack them at the rim.
Fancy move. Albrecht converts. And I'm with you. Michigan's actually dead last in the Big Ten in block shots right now. Mark Donnell, who's not supposed to be playing that much, has the most by far. And he's not really known for that anyway.
So where Michigan has size is on the wings with Irvin and LeVert, and they've got to really concentrate to limit that dribble penetration.
Dump off pass, and this time they convert here. Osabua underneath, and a quick timeout. NJIT calls it as they get it down to within 4 in Ann Arbor here this afternoon. BTN has it covered for tonight's football championship game between Ohio State and Wisconsin. Pre- and post-game coverage live from Indy starting at 6:30 Eastern tonight on BTN. And, of course, the game itself, 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox.
So, Josh, you got your official Jamaican status because you do so many jobs. One of them being NFL football commentator. Who do you like in that game?
I like somebody who wears something red or off red. How's that?
Come on now. You got to do better than that.
Now,
who do you like?
I like both of them.
Oh, I like both of them too, but who do you think will win?
I think Ohio State's going to win.
I do too. I do too. I don't think they're...
You pushed me right off the fence.
I agree with you.
I do think it's going to be a great game, though.
I agree. And Melvin Gordon is my favorite player in college football.
He said to send his regards to you. Yeah. This game is a lot closer than I think a lot thought it might have been. 3 rims out on Levert. And Damon Lynn hustles it down court.
I'm okay with that look from Levert. You want your best player trying to be more aggressive to take over the game. We're starting to see him kick in right now.
Again, NJIT, a team that hung with St. John's, beat Duquesne, came close to beating Marquette. They get their first offensive rebound, but Lynn can't follow it up. And now Levert, a little sloppy, a held ball, and the possession arrow is going to run it down the other way. Timeout on the floor. And the Highlanders giving the Wolverines everything they can handle today. It's 44-40. Big Ten Digital Network is now BTN Plus, available on BTN to go. Subscribe to BTN Plus and gain access to hundreds of non-televised games like these. Available on BTN to go. If, for example, you wanted to see the Citadel against Michigan State, that's how to do it. How come it's the Ohio State University, but the Citadel?
That's a good question.
It's very nuanced, but anyway, as John Beilein kind of mulls what's going on right now, sure, a lot of talking points coming off of this game today that he can use to teach a young team.
Well, and I think what we're seeing, you saw the percentage. You're looking at the Highlanders are still at 58% shooting from the field. That's not Michigan-like defense. That's effort. That's lack of clarity and communication on the defensive end.
And only 5 assists on the offensive side. That one spins out, but a foul is called. That'll go on Levert. That's his first. Let me talk about John Beilein, the guy with 707 wins. A total only 5 current D1 coaches have achieved. Got Coach K, Jim Boeheim, who was just here. Bob Huggins, Roy Williams, and now Bo Ryan, too. Free throw goes for Osabua. And, you know, the thing that I think is so fascinating about Beilein is he was never an assistant at any level. He just jumped right in. Head coach at age 23 and still a head coach now in his 60s.
And has had some high school football coaching experience as well. So varied background for a wonderful coach.
Good look, but Irvin couldn't get the layup to go. And here come the Highlanders again. A pull-up 3. And look at what we have here. We got a tie game.
See, the longer this game goes, the more confidence the Highlanders get. And so now the crowd has got to help this young Wolverines team out with a little bit of energy.
Irvin saves it, and there's that ball movement.
This is the young man needs to get going. Zach Irvin, he has struggled here this afternoon trying to find his shot. They need to get him on the box.
Yeah, he's 2 of 8, 5 points, and now a travel on Walton. And NJIT can actually take the lead now.
You know, Damon Lynn. Like I said, his green light is neon. So when he comes off the bus, Josh, he's looking to jack it up. And Michigan's got to be aware of him every time the Highlanders have the basketball.
You know, he was 2 of 10 before he hit that shot you just saw on replay. That's the mark of a great shooter, right? You just kind of wipe your memory bank clean and try again.
That's right. And now we see Michigan go to their vaulted 1-3-1 zone defense.
That one's kicked out of bounds by Holiday. So Michigan does get it back on the turnover. It's something that was plaguing the Highlanders all first half.
They were fortunate, too. Right there, point-blank ranges. Daquan Holiday just couldn't get the handle.
Note that Chapman, one of the freshmen, is back on the court now. Doyle, the other freshman, 32, just set that pick.
Nice front on the post by Daquan Holiday, discouraging Doyle from getting the basketball.
Shot clock at 5. Albrecht dumps it off. Now gets it back as the shot clock expires. And, well, it's just kind of been that kind of day for Michigan.
See, right now, it's not necessarily on the offensive end where Michigan is struggling. It's on this end of the floor here. So now Karis LeVert comes out on the point of this 1-3-1. Josh, let's see if he can make some things happen and Michigan can get some easy buckets.
Good ball movement here, and there's that Bill Carmody special we were talking about earlier that Michigan used to face with Northwestern. NJIT has the lead.
That was textbook cutting up of the 1-3-1 zone by the Highlanders.
It's the first time NJIT has ever played a ranked opponent. Think about that. Not only haven't they beaten one, they've never played one. And they're leading here at Chrysler Center. NJIT began its Division I adventure 7 years ago. They are in the deep end of the swimming pool here today, and they are swimming strong. Batted around a couple times, and the freshman Chapman comes away.
Chapman got away with the foul that time.
4.5 minutes scoreless now for the Wolverines.
Zach Irvin's got to get aggressive. Got to start hunting his shot.
Albrecht, who won the game against Syracuse. LeVert off. Everything's just a little off for Michigan today. Blocking foul. And Coleman hit the deck hard. That'll be the third on Spike Albrecht. So with about 10.5 to go, NJIT trying to pull the upset, and they actually lead here by a bucket. Tomorrow night on BTN, the Cornhuskers taking on Creighton, an in-state showdown. That's a good one. Coverage starting at 7 Eastern, presented by April Air on BTN and BTN to go. Well, if you're watching this game in the New York City area, you know, the Islanders in hockey have been quite a surprise this year. How about the Highlanders of NJIT? They are shocking Michigan right now here at Chrysler, 46-44, but still 10:35 to go.
You know, the difference is there were 11 turnovers by the Highlanders in the first half. According to our stat sheet here, they have 1 turnover here in the second half. They continue to shoot the ball well from the field. They're 8 of 14 from the field are the Highlanders. And so they are taking care. Wide open from the leading scorer.
And when he gets hot, he stays hot. That's Damon Lynn, who's averaging about 20 points a game. It's an 11-0 run now for NJIT.
I'm going to tell you what, the Highlanders are playing, but that was an excellent call by Jim Ingles and his staff coming out of the timeout.
His program looking for a signature win. This would be it. They have never played a team in the current top 25 rankings in their 7 years of D1. But they've got number 17 Michigan to here and got them right in the crosshairs. Rainbow rolls out this time on Lynn. Wide open. Irvin's got to hit it. And they're going to say last touch by Donnell. So you get a wide open three. You get a chance for a follow. And it's Highlanders basketball.
I'm okay with that shot because you need Zach Irvin to get going. He does that very easily. Catch on the fly, shoot the three. He's a little frustrated, but he's got, as you said, has some amnesia. And the next time he gets the opportunity, let it fly with confidence.
Well, you can almost feel the angst here in Chrysler. Michigan has won its last 37 here non-conference against unranked teams. This is a way unranked team. And a foul. Winfield Willis was trying to sell it as a shooting foul. That goes on Donnell. That's his second.
I saw last night Florida go into Kansas, and they were up 17, Josh. And it looked dim, but the Rock Chalk Jayhawk fans brought the Jayhawks back to life. That's what needs to happen here in Chrysler Arena.
Now, somebody's got to get out the paddles here and yell clear quick. And John Beilein is going to call timeout. Well, noting that Yale went in and beat UConn yesterday, look what we got going here in Ann Arbor. NJIT, coached by Jim Engels in his 7th year, trying to make a name for his program. This is a school without a conference, the only Division I team that is not affiliated. They're trying to play against the big guns out there. In 2 weeks, they'll get Villanova. They've already met up with St. John's and Marquette. This was ambitious scheduling to come in here to Chrysler and try to beat John Beilein's team on its home court. Right now, they're on a 13-0 run.
Well, now the Chrysler fans starting to respond a little bit, trying to give this young club some energy.
Scoreless in the last 6 minutes.
That was a good play out of the timeout, a double screen for Walton. He was wide open, just didn't convert. If Michigan continues to get good looks, Josh, they'll start to knock some of these down.
Well, the air is just leaking out of the balloon when you talk about what happened Tuesday, all the incredible frenetic energy here in this building as they hung on and beat Syracuse. Into the corner, shot clock at 3. And the 3 missed. Walton corrals another board.
Nice defensive possession by the Wolverines.
Walton stripped of the ball. But you got to like his aggressiveness there, yeah?
Yeah, because they're looking to score before the defense gets set up. And they need to pick up the pace. They need to pick up the tempo. Walton does a good job on an in-and-out dribble and draws a foul.
It was the 15:31 mark the last time Michigan scored. Here we are at 8:09. And a foul, by the way, on Lynn, his second. All right, they got the point that they needed to push off. And maybe Ricky Doyle brings that energy as he comes off the bench.
I think he can. And you just need guys who are going to, defend first and foremost. The offense always follows the defense. You get stops, then your offense becomes a lot easier.
11 for Walton. Rolled up and in. Nweke on the board.
See, now Michigan's going to be in a dogfight. Obviously, they're down 7 right now, but the Islanders have a lot of confidence.
Oh, bank home by LeVert. That was some necessary English as the Wolverines carve it down to 4. Nweke missed, and here come the Wolverines. Walton, can he? Yeah! Yes, he did! That had the Spike Albrecht English on it from Tuesday.
Yes, it did. Now the place is erupting.
Albrecht takes a charge. And a timeout. 8-0 run for Michigan. And it's a 1-point game. Basketball on BTN presented by April Air. Feel good inside. And brought to you in part by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. Crisis at Chrysler for a little bit. 53-46 was the score. Now it's 53-52.
And you need your veteran players, Josh, to step up and make plays. Spike Albrecht drawing the charge here with good defensive pressure, allowing Michigan another opportunity and keeping the fans involved.
But from the files of who'd have thunk it, NJIT with the lead, but here come the Wolverines charging back. Three ball, Urban. Doyle with the follow and draws a foul. Boy, he has just been great on the offensive boards as a freshman.
Well, Doyle's got a Big Ten body already at 6'9", 245. And his father played pro ball in France for 11 seasons, so he's got it in his genes. And if he's willing to put forth the effort, which we've seen here, especially in the last 3 games, you'll get situations like that.
And just think, if John Horford hadn't transferred to Florida, he'd be redshirting this year. Fresh 35 for Michigan. Albrecht, of course, was the go-to guy against Syracuse Tuesday. At one point, it was 10 straight empty possessions for Michigan. Now LeVert. That's not empty. He fills it up.
So you want your best players to step up in a situation where the opposing team is trying to come in and take from your house. You got to hold your ground at home. And you want your best players like LeVert to step up and make plays.
20 for LeVert. It's a 9-0 Michigan run after a 13-0 run the other way. There's their Mr. 3, and he does it again. Damon Lynn. 3.7 threes a game last year, was 4th most in the nation. And when he gets going, watch out. He had 9 trays in a road game last year. LeVert. And he gets hammered with 5:22 to go.
Well, Damon Lynn, sensing that the shot clock's running down under duress, puts in a teardrop over the outstretched arm of Albrecht.
LeVert already with 20. And give him 21. He's an 81% shooter.
He doesn't change his disposition, Josh. He knows when his team needs him to step up and make plays. And he's done that here in the second half.
15 this half for Caris LeVert. Seems like every possession they're looking for that inside, and on the cut, the foul committed. Yeah, that's Albrecht. That's 4. It is on Albrecht.
See, you remember when the Princeton offense was all the rage. There were a lot of teams trying to run it. Well, NJIT, it gives them an opportunity to shorten the game because they take a lot of time on each possession, but it gives them principles, backdoor cuts, curls, and ability to read the defense that if they would just take care of the basketball, this would be a very competitive team, as we're seeing right now.
They've only been to the foul line here 4 times, but they've hit all 4 shots. And once again, they toggle back on top here at 58-57. Of the big 3, Irvin's the guy that has not produced today. The others have, Walton and LeVert. And I'm sorry, I was going to say, Stephen, the noted spark plugs, Doyle and Albrecht, have been pretty quiet.
Yeah, you're going to have games like that where other guys have to step up.
Walton blocked for the foul. Coleman thought he got all ball. He's hopping around trying to sell that, but that's not going to happen.
I think Coleman might have had a legitimate argument right there. Walton threw his body into Coleman, which is smart. So he initiated the contact. Heads up play by Derek Walton Jr.
And Walton making it a point to try and get to the line more this year, taking the ball hard to the hole. Last year he averaged only about 2 free throws a game. Already this year it's closer to 5.
And he's also battling that sore right toe, or left toe, excuse me, left big toe. And so he's gutting it out right now, knowing his team needs every bit of offense that he can provide.
Free ball. And he did it again, Damon Lynn. That's 5 of them for number 5. And all of a sudden, he's got 17 points, and all of a sudden, the Highlanders have the lead. 61-59 in Ann Arbor. Smile on the face of a coach who's got a lead at Michigan. Who are the Highlanders? NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. And they're in Newark, New Jersey. They are 4 miles from the campus of Seton Hall. And therein lies the tale, 25 years after the fact, right? When Ramil Robinson sunk the free throws and Michigan beat Seton Hall in Seattle. An incredible game that was. This one is shaping up to be a memorable one, too. Not quite the same stage, I understand that. But
Damon Lynn got me excited over here. When you fake, jab, step back, and fall off your baby toe with pressure and knock a 3 down.
oh, like LeVert just did?
Yes. We're having a shootout here this afternoon.
It's Lynn and LeVert going back and forth with threes. LeVert's got 5 of them. Lynn's got 5 of them. And they're going to call LeVert with a push here in the open court. That'll be his second foul.
Well, LeVert is not going to get the Highlanders are going to have to force the ball out of his hands. He's going to make something happen. Either he's going to contribute to the bucket by getting someone open, or he's going to be very aggressive from here on out.
Well, he's already tied a career high in points with 25 here today. He's got his career high in steals today. But there are going to be some short fingernails here in Ann Arbor, one way or another. This thing is tied up with 4:04 to go.
But remember, Michigan can hit you with a 10-0 run before you can blink. With the way they shoot the 3, if they can force a couple turnovers, which they haven't been able to do much in the second half, against this suddenly secure ball handling team of the Highlanders.
Out of bounds for Michigan.
It's amazing to me how the Highlanders were so loose with the basketball early in the game to where now here in the second half, they're allowing the game to come to them and they're not forcing the action.
Albrecht with 4 fouls. He is back in the game here trying to ignite. LeVert almost got out of bounds. Open man Irvin. And his rough afternoon continues. 1 out of 8 for Zach Irvin. Of course, he led the charge with 18 against Syracuse just a few days ago.
It'll be a 5 count. A good job by Karis LeVert.
He's everywhere. Offensive side, defensive side. A runner, and it goes for Kai Howard.
I think Ricky Doyle actually tipped that shot on the way up.
The Highlanders at one point had 4 turnovers and no field goals in this game, and they're up now by 1.
Excellent clear out for Karis LeVert. The strong side loaded 3 Michigan players. There was a Michigan player in the opposite wing, allowing Karis LeVert to turn the corner, get in the paint, and elevate.
19 in the second half for LeVert.
This is such good experience for Michigan, Josh. A young ball club having to hold their own at home.
Wow! Damon Lynn again, and that is 6 of those.
What a challenge right now for Michigan.
Now, we've talked about teaching moments for John Beilein. There's a pile of them here. He's going to have to coach him up quick. There's 2.5 to go. All right, so how does this happen, Stephen Bardo? You have the big win against Syracuse a few nights ago, and here comes NJIT. What's happening here?
Well, they didn't respect the scouting report. They didn't respect their opponents. And so what's happened, NJIT has gotten excited. But let me explain something to you. John Beilein is not upset with this. He's happy with this. Because from here on out, when he tells his team, these guys are good, they'll tend to listen more than they did before they came into today's game.
Yeah, if there were any kind of behind-the-back eye rolls, okay, Coach.
Right.
Attention has been grabbed. LeVert has been fouled, and NJIT can't believe it. That's Howard that's called for it. And still the Highlanders with a 4-point lead with 2:22 to go. NJIT trying to roll towards what Yale just did to UConn last night. And they are rolling now, leading by 4 as we go back and forth with 3 balls in this one.
Well, the 2 best players on the floor right now, Damon Lynn for NJIT is showing what he's got, and so is Karis LeVert, not only the best player on Michigan's team, but one of the best players in the nation.
You know, the most common thing you heard walking in this arena today, one fan saying to another, NJIT, what does that stand for? And now we're beginning to know who they are, what they are. Damon Lynn has had the big afternoon. As we look at the score right now, NJIT by 4. No joke, it's true. That's where we're going with what they're all about. They've got a 4-point lead at Chrysler. And if Lynn keeps hitting threes, they got a shot to get out of here with a W.
They do. They're 6 of 8 from the 3-point line in the second half. 60% from the field are the Highlanders. So the defensive effort has not been poor. The offense has just been a little bit better for the Highlanders since they've got the hot hand.
It's a 1-and-1 for LeVert, who has set a career high today in points. He's got 27. Make it 28.
And you better believe he's going to touch the ball every possession down the stretch for Michigan from here on out.
He got them both. Now they need the defensive stand.
Now Karis LeVert is guarding Damon Lynn. So your best player is taking it upon himself to slow down the hot hand from the Highlanders.
Howard. And he rattles it in. He's got his career high with that.
You know, I tip my hat to the Highlanders. Howard knew that Spike Albrecht could not keep him from the rim. So when LeVert switched off, Howard put his head down and got to the rim.
LeVert. You bet!
Are we getting paid to call this game, Josh?
If Michigan wins it, it'll be because Karis LeVert played out of his mind.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got 32, but will it be enough? Looking for a signature win for the program. NJIT at Michigan. Shot clock at 5 for number 5, who lays it off and a block. Oh, Irvin, who hasn't done anything today, just made a huge play.
So that's a young man that's not pouting, but still ready to play even when his hand is not hot.
LeVert has scored the last 10 for Michigan. Throws it away. It's NJIT's ball. What a heads-up play out of bounds. Willis off of Albrecht.
What a play by Willis, anticipating the cross-court pass, comes up with the steal. I mean, watch this play. Gets the deflection, comes up with a steal, and puts it off of Spike Albrecht's shoulder. What a play.
It's the kind of play that you'd expect Albrecht to make against somebody else. So just to reset it for you, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, has never even played a top 25 team, let alone beaten a top 25 team. LeVert trying to make sure that Michigan wins this thing, just threw it away.
And you notice the Highlanders made an adjustment. They started double teaming LeVert off of the pick and roll and sank the weak side defenders into the paint. Winfield Willis, playing like a defensive back, saw the pass the whole way and made a tremendous defensive play.
Closest that NJIT has come to even playing a top 25 team. 3 years ago, Stephen, they played Georgetown. They were at the fringe, I think 27 or 28 in the rankings, and they got blown out by 40. So here they are taking on number 17 Michigan, which just beat Syracuse in this game, of course, in Ann Arbor. And they got a shot to get out of here with a win.
They do, and right now, they've got a full shot clock, so they're not going to get a quick look at the bucket. So they're going to probably try to run it down within 10 seconds, do a little false motion, and then get that man the basketball, Damon Lynn, and let him create something as the shot clock runs down.
Here comes the Michigan crowd. But here come those plucky Highlanders of NJIT.
Yeah, see the false motion right here? They're just trying to get the shot clock down and get the ball into Lynn's hands right now.
He's hit 6 threes in this game. Shot clock to 5. It's stripped away. Walton's on the line. They'll have 3 to shoot. And a timeout called by NJIT.
Wow, Derek Walton almost comes up with the play of the game. Coming from the weak side. Almost got the steal. Coleman could not see him coming from the backside.
So, Stephen, with 3 seconds on this shot clock, are they looking to just somehow spring Damon Lynn for a 3, or are they just going to try to work it to whoever's open underneath?
They're going to have to work to whoever's open. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kai Howard get the basketball and just try to put his head down and go to the hole. I'd be very surprised if Lynn was able to get open on this half-court possession.
Michigan's most recent game against an independent Division I, they needed a shot at the buzzer to beat Savannah State. That was in 08. And let's face it, in 08, that was not a good team. This year's team is supposed to be something pretty special.
I agree with you there. But have we had a classic shootout here in the second half?
This is something. The way that LeVert
oh my goodness.
and Lynn Wright have gone back and forth.
Yeah, and they've gotten it multiple ways. Lynn has gotten some inside the 2, a lot from the 3. Karis LeVert has gotten to the free throw line, made 3s, and gotten in the paint. Wonderful offensive execution in the second half.
Possession arrow note is to Michigan. Now, they've got a couple timeouts left, too.
Now, Josh, I'm going to take you back to the beginning of the second half. NJIT had a similar out-of-bounds play where 3 guys went down and screened. Lynn popped behind the wall, caught a pass for a wide-open 3. Let's see if they can get something like that on this possession.
With 3 on the shot clock. Tough look. And as they battle, NJIT has got the ball. And they've got a timeout. Or a foul, actually. They're going to call a foul before the timeout was taken on Walton.
Number 2, Spike Albrecht.
Spike Albrecht, not Walton. So Albrecht now is gone. You would think if there was a hero to be had in the final seconds would be their man, but he's just fouled out.
Wow, wild frenzy for the basketball. It looked like Ricky Doyle was going to be able to come up with it.
Boy, and it's like the cone of silence has dropped on Chrysler Center. They can't believe this. Holiday is going to go to the line. Now, you still got to hit free throws, and he's only a 63% shooter. But he is a senior. He is the only senior that sees appreciable playing time for either of these teams. Remember, Michigan doesn't even have a senior. And a young team looking to learn and build and grow. This is some kind of lesson they're getting here today.
It's unreal, the poise that we saw a sloppy team in the first half of NJIT. All of a sudden, they've been able to take care of the basketball, make plays, and have enough defense to put themselves in this position.
So Daquan Holiday. And before he goes to the line, Michigan, a 30-second timeout.
Michigan has called a 30-second timeout.
Now, one advantage Michigan has in this situation. Typically, Josh, one bounce takes 1 second. Derek Walton is so fast, he can get from one end of the floor to the other in 3 seconds. So if there's a made or miss, Michigan will have a very good chance, even if they don't advance the ball and call timeout at half court. If they go full court, Derek Walton is fast enough to get the ball up the floor for Michigan to get a quality look, whether made or miss, off of this free throw.
And they can somehow get it to LeVert, who is 6 out of 8 from beyond the arc. That's a beautiful thing. Our Culligan pure and simple difference maker, the other 3-ball shooter, that's Damon Lynn. 20 points, 6 3-pointers. And poised for the upset here, the Highlanders of NJIT.
Let's go!
Holiday gets another.
Now, Josh, if Holiday makes this, if you're Jim Ingle, do you foul? Let's see what they choose.
It's a make. And it's a timeout. Or is it? No timeout. They thought they would get it on that other side, and now they do. Yeah, Michigan will want to talk it over. What do you design in 4.3 to get the tying three with Spike Albrecht fouled out?
Yeah, Michigan has plenty of time to get a quality look. My question is, does Jim Ingles, the NJIT coach, decide to foul before they get into the three-point shooting motion? Because we've seen this numerous times in the college game where coaches elect to play defense and the opposing team hits a three. If this game goes to overtime, I think Michigan definitely has the advantage.
Michigan's last loss to a non-major conference team here at Chrysler was a loss to Central Michigan in 07. And again, that kind of 07 to 08 range that we're talking about, that was not exactly tall cotton for Michigan basketball. This under John Beilein is a whole different thing. This is a team that just knocked off Syracuse. It's number 17 in the country, legitimately a solid team that went to the Elite Eight a year ago. A lot of people think that with a young nucleus this year, they can get back there again. But NJIT trying to make the Yale win at UConn yesterday look like nothing.
Yeah, it's been interesting here. And I'm just impressed with their poise. I mean, Michigan has played hard. They played solid defense. But the Highlanders have pretty much gotten anything they wanted down the stretch on the offensive end.
So once again, LeVert has been the big story for Michigan with 32 points, 25 of them in the second half. He's been the hottest hand for them. Can they find him?
Well, and all the players are talking to Ricky Doyle right now. So he's going to be required to make the inbounds pass. So they're putting a lot of pressure on this freshman, Josh. A big man throwing the ball in this scenario. Let's see how he does.
Little pump fake before he gets it in, and here we go. The foul, as you predicted. 2.6 on the clock, and it's a 1-and-1.
Well, NJIT did an excellent job of switching everything. Tried to run Walton off of a couple cross screens, and there was nothing open. Doyle made the right decision in getting the ball to Chapman.
Chapman's 0 for 6 from the field in this game, and now going to the line for the first time.
Now, do you try to miss if you're Chapman?
That's a great question.
You've got Irvin and Doyle on the free throw line right now. Let's see what happens. Yes, he tried to miss.
But NJIT the rebound, and with 1.2, Doyle commits the foul. Those 17 offensive rebounds against Syracuse on Tuesday night. Could have used one of those to carry over right there.
And no timeouts for Michigan right now. So if these free throws are made, this is a ball game.
Yeah, and even if they just make one out of two, you got to get it down court.
Yes.
And fire from around the M somewhere with 1.2. So coming off the high of that very exciting win against Syracuse, this is what they're looking at here today. The miss. They got to shoot. And David has popped Goliath here in Ann Arbor.
Unbelievable effort by Jim Ingles, his staff, and his players. They came in here, were very confident, Josh, very solid, and shot 58%, almost 59% from the field, 64% from 3, 11 from 17 on the road. Tip your hat to the Highlanders. They
started this game down 8-0, turned it over their first 4 trips, and they just beat the Michigan Wolverines. Your final, 72-70. For Stephen Bardo, this is Josh Lewin. And we'll send you now to Mike Hall, Chuck Long, Derek Mason, Brandon Williams, and Indy. A Big Ten game break. So long from Ann Arbor.